when Donald Trump was prominently displayed in mainstream media and what his fans used to do. For the past 4 years under the Brandon regime, I did kind of forget about that. All right, so the last piece I wanted to talk about was
foreign countries paying those tariffs. Won't they pass those along? If they passed a tax on golf memberships, you would probably at your resorts pass that along to your members, right? You wouldn't have just absorbed it.
It sort of depends on the market, not necessarily. You look like you might be a golfer, actually, but not really necessarily.
Not a good one, sir.
Not a good one.
Damn, his size, dude. This man's got to be like 6'8", dog. He's height mogging him. God damn. That's why Trump can't even say nothing about it. Trump's like, not necessarily.
There aren't too many good ones around, I'll tell you. But no, not really. I think that you're going to find, and I think when we do it, and different countries also will be tariffed differently. You know, there are some that make tremendous margins on us. We have countries, I won't go into it now, but we have countries that are charging us 200% and 250 and 300%, and we charge them nothing. And it's insane, and you just can't do it. And it's really not sustainable. It's not sustainable. There are certain countries that I'd rather not mention them now because I'll be mentioning them if and when we win, but they're going to have to pay up.
I love this shit. He's like, it's a secret. It's a secret. I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I'm going to unveil it if I win.
And it's not going to have inflationary. If anything, it's going to go the opposite. We're going to be paying off debt because we have too much debt. As a country, we have too much debt.
Okay, there's virtually zero economists that would agree with that. Like, I can't believe I'm in agreement. Like, obviously, it's understandable. Trade protectionism is understandable if you want to, like, beef up your own manufacturing, right? But, like, he wants to do tariffs on everything coming from China, which is insane. And also, that absolutely is a sales tax. Kamala Harris positioning that as a sales tax is actually pretty solid messaging because that's what it is. The costs are absolutely going to be carried on to the consumer. It will never, not a single company would actually turn around and eat away at their profit margins, okay? That's never going to happen. He wants a tariff for all goods coming in, not just China. Okay, that's like if there's no United States manufacturing equivalent, why the would you tariff that good? That actually doesn't make sense, okay? Like if there's a U.S. manufacturing equivalent and you want to beef up American manufacturing, okay, that's one thing. It's also a long-term plan that you need to first implement the facilities for before you turn around and decide to tariff everything. Like it's not like a one-off. The tariffs can't come before it. The actual goal is to move manufacturing to India. I never thought about that. Hold on, I'm testing this in Victoria 3. We'll get back to you. That would be crazy. CNN's top story on their site today was about Kamala HQ clip chimping. She's having the hardest time on the easiest setting. Like, one of the things that I, as someone who is voting for Joe Biden anyway, and not for Kamala Harris, obviously, because I'm a NATO voter, as you guys know. One thing that I've been struggling with, or one thing that even I, someone who has been tapped in and mainlining politics nonstop, even on the off season, as a part of my profession, something that I had forgotten that I am reminded of now, aside from the top of the hour ad break, which comes at the top of the hour every hour. But one thing that I've been reminded of is how shitty it used to be when Donald Trump was prominently displayed in mainstream media and what his fans used to do. Okay. For the past 4 years under the Brandon regime, I did kind of forget about that. So the thing that is like very frustrating to me, one of the easiest angles for Kamala Harris to like win decisively is to remind people how shitty they felt under the Trump administration. Okay.
Absolutely. One last question, Mr. President. I know you have to go. If there was a Republican for Harris here in the room with us, what would you tell that person in terms of persuading them to vote for you as opposed to vote for Harris?
I probably wouldn't tell them anything because usually it would be maybe a personality problem. Maybe they don't like the way I was tough on China. You know, a lot of them don't want me to be tough on China. A lot of them don't want me to be tough on anybody because they're taken care of by people. You saw that. You saw that with Biden. He gets money from so many, his family gets money from so many different countries. And a lot of it's that. But for every one they have, I have many. I have so many that have left the Democrats and they've come here. I mean, the governor of West Virginia, fantastic man, and Big Jim, I call him, he left the Democrats and he became a Republican, and now he's going to win the election. He's going to win very easily. So we have a lot of them, too.
Well, thank you very much.
Did he just say a random Republican that voted for him that's now voting for Harris is paid by the Chinese government?
Person in terms of persuading them to vote for you as opposed to vote for Harris?
I probably wouldn't tell them anything, because usually it would be maybe a personality problem. Maybe they don't like the way I was tough on China. You know, a lot of them don't want me to be tough on China. A lot of them don't want me to be tough on anybody because they're taken care of by people. You saw that. You saw that with Biden. He gets money from so many, his family gets money from so many different countries. And a lot of it.
That's crazy. He's like, even if you're a random, he's talking about Jim Smith.
It's that. But for every one they have, I have many. I have so many that have left the Democrats and they've come here. I mean, the governor of West Virginia.
I think the Democrats have calculated that offering a peaceful tone as an alternative is more effective than aggressively refuting Trump. Not that that's right. I just think it's their strategy. It's not their strategy. They're running an election, of course, against Donald Trump. They literally constantly boulder Donald Trump. They shit on Donald Trump all the time. They say he's like a threat to democracy. What do you think? The battleground blitz in the race for the White House, because I got a lot of smoke. This is something I'm so pissed off about, because it's like giving me PTSD flashbacks of the Trump era, dude. And it's very frustrating for me seeing this happen, trying to point to history, trying to explain to people that the Democratic Party is not only the immediate bag in front of their eyes in terms of like winning the election, but the Democratic Party is also obviously, with this kind of capitulation to right-wing framing on issues, especially as it pertains to immigration, are not only hurting their chances electorally, but they're also hurting the country. Okay, they are causing irreparable damage by not actively counter-messaging against this kind of shit. Two polling things, if you want to touch on them, here are all the post-debate national polls. The YouGov Yahoo poll found Harris beat Trump on every issue except immigration, including the all-important cost of living, 45 to 39. Post-debate polls, happy Saturday. Yeah, all the polls showing +5, +4. That's why I said she's going to see at least a minimum +2 bump, and that the one poll that they showed on CNN was probably too early to tell when we were looking at the Harry Enton coverage on it, because she was like, she definitely is going to get a bump from this debate. I mean, she clobbered Trump. And yeah, so she did. Question is it enough? You know, maybe. Probably. This is why I still have not run on the Donald Trump is going to win if she keeps doing this shit attitude overall. I keep telling you, don't worry, liberals. You know, your joyful campaign will probably inevitably yield a Democratic Party victory because of the overarching dissatisfaction that people have with Donald Trump. It just shouldn't be a race to the bottom. It shouldn't be a race, a mirror race of like who can be the worst and still eke out a marginal victory. Anyway, here, let's take a look at the race as it stands now.
And Donald Trump are hitting the campaign trail in critical swing states. The race is still very, very tight. ABC's Mary Alice Parks joins us live now from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Mary Alice, good morning.
Yeah, Gio, good morning. This is a pretty small town, only about 44,000 people. It's a county where former President Trump won twice. But Harris had a rather large, energetic crowd last night with several thousand. Vice President Kamala Harris overnight campaigning in central Pennsylvania in a county former President Trump won twice, hoping to chip away at his support.
We need a president of the United States who works for all the American people. And that just stops with all the trying to divide us. Like, people are exhausted with that stuff.
Anchor Brian Taff from our Philadelphia station, WPVI, sitting down with Harris for her first interview since debating Trump.
I think some people have a question, given maybe your current role as Vice President of the United States, how different you are from Joe Biden.
Well, I'm obviously not Joe Biden. And, you know, I offer a new generation of leadership. And so, for example, thinking about developing and creating an opportunity economy where it's about investing in areas that really need a lot of work.
No, she literally straight up was like, Oh no, you don't understand. I'm different than I'm a new generational Democrat, different than Joe Biden, which is why I'm going to do exactly the same policies as Joe Biden, like some of the good ones as well. All right, and then also I'm going to add my own. I'm going to add my own stupid proposal to it. Like, what, you think Joe Biden doesn't care about small businesses? Like, what is this argument? Like, oh man, I'm going to be so different than Joe Biden. I'm different than Joe Biden, except not at all. It's bullshit.
Local officials repeat.
Apparently in Vegas, he actually brought a friend of the show, Bryce, what's his name? Bryce Hall, onto the stage as well. Dude, Trump is it is so easy to get on his good side. That's it. You just got to be like, I like him.